Do not do that
sir,
to
I
me
don't
again.
want to make it hard on you.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I've already answered everything about this lady right here, and I've done it in the best possible way that I can, and I've told you, this is not the lady that my daughter described to me. So we can end this right now. This is all you're is fishing, sir. You're fishing for information, for a criminal investigation that you have nothing to do with. I've already answered everything. This is not the lady. When I get up out of here, I want to walk over to her and shake her hand and tell her I'm sorry.
And I appreciate that.
I will do that because that's the kind of person that I am.
That's good of you.
As far,
I mean that. I'm not being sarcastic.
I'm going to tell you what. You better get this over in 5 minutes. I'm giving you 5 minutes more of my time. Otherwise, that's where I'm walking out of here. I know that's not what Brad told me to do, but you know something? I'm over this. I'm over you. I'm over all this other stuff. You guys have torn apart my family so much. Every single one of you. Every single one of you. You don't realize what you've done to us. And you don't care. You don't care. And when you say you sympathize and all that kind of stuff, you don't give anything about me. You don't care. I hope you never have to go through what I've had to go through. I hope another family member of yours never has to go through what I've had to go through.
Me too, sir.
Because you know something,
I
if
wouldn't
you
wish
did,
it on anybody.
but you know something, if you did and you needed some help, I'd be there to help you. You know why? Because I care. I care. That's more than I can say about what's going on right now.
Okay.
So you got 5 more minutes of my time, otherwise I'm walking out of here, sir, in 5 minutes. So make your next question or two be relevant. If not, I'm leaving. I'm done. Sorry, Brad.
It's okay. It's all right.
I'm done with it.
It's okay. It's all right. Let's listen to the questions.
Okay. Just got 5 minutes.
Listen.
I think that
Okay.
4 minutes.
Okay. I got it. Let us do it this way. We got a lot of stuff, and what we're going to do is we've got questions not answered. We're going to suspend this and take it with the judge so we can have some parameters on it so that we can, because what I need to have laid out, there needs to be some understanding that this is, certainly appreciate the painful nature of this. I hate having to ask you the question. You can laugh about it, sir, but I'm a deeply kind. I understand, but the fact is you don't know me, and I'm a kind-hearted person. I hate asking these questions, but I also have an obligation, a deep obligation to this lady here, and it doesn't simply end with you saying she wasn't the person. I appreciate you saying that very much. If you shake her hand and say, I'm sorry, that will touch my heart. But it doesn't change the fact that I have more work to be done in this case for things that your daughter did. Not you or your wife, your daughter did. And it creates a very difficult, hard job to do what I have to do for her because of some bad things that happened to her daughter. So I need some parameters from the court. And I honestly think you genuinely don't understand the limits of what our job are here. And I think if we have some parameters from the court, we can come back with a clear understanding and we can tamp this down a little bit. Let me do my job. That is an unpleasant one. I'd rather be doing many other things today than talking to you in this period of grieving. But I have a job to do, and I need the judge to give some guidance so we can come back in a less emotional state and get through this, roll our sleeves up, get it done, and move on, and I can get out of your life.
And Brad, do we understand that we only have 2 minutes? He's walking out of here in 2 minutes. I mean, is that
if you guys have some relevant questions,
well, no. He said he's leaving in 4 minutes.
That's the reason we're down to, I assume, a minute
because we're going to be here for hours.
So
if he's walking out in 4 minutes, there's no.
Let's get this over with. I don't want to go in front of a judge no more. I'm tired of judges. I'm tired of all this.
Ask the
stuff.
questions. Let's go
I'm
question by question.
I'm going to tell you what. I'm not going to answer anything about the criminal part of this thing. I'm not going to do that.
But you're going to have to.
All right, the bottom line is...
I have to do that, sir, when a criminal case comes up. Not in a civil case, I do not. I do not. I do not have to answer stuff that comes in a criminal case. So you give me all examples you want. Go for it.
Hang on a second. Well, you know what? Why don't we take a little break and let everybody cool down for a second?
No, I don't want to take a break.
Because
I don't want to take a break.
What Keith has said is true, and this is what I think Mr. Anthony's having trouble with. If we prove who did do this, we prove she didn't do this. And that is why we have to ask these questions, or we're not doing our job.
I've already answered your question that she's not the one that did it. I've already answered that.
We're getting ready to go into a whole set of questions about the trunk, the smell in the car, and that's where we're going next. And so we got to tell you that because we have to do that.
You've already done that. You've already asked that question.
You didn't answer.
You know what?
No, I didn't.
I think we're probably
yes,
better off.
Yes, you did. You asked about the smell in the trunk of the car. You asked about me walking to the trunk of the car. You just asked me that.
Out, we're going to move for contempt charges.
Actually, I asked about your daughter blocking you going to the trunk.
If you all decide, let me say this, if you all decide to walk out, we're going to move to find Mr. Anthony in contempt of court. We'll be seeking attorney's fees. So, and again,
you can
he
do that.
cannot answer if he doesn't want to answer, or if you tell him not to answer, or you can walk out. Walking out, I don't think the judge will look favorably upon.
Well, and to be clear, not answering isn't appropriate either. But I don't. Here's what I want. Let me just be clear. I want to do my job and get done and let him leave. I can't having a lecture about my cold-heartedness when I'm a kind-hearted human being. Every question for doing my job I can't do. On the other hand, I understand this is hard for him. I'm a little disappointed, frankly, Brad, that you didn't have him prepared for this is relevant. This is within the scope of discovery we're entitled to. He apparently thinks only question we get to ask is that her. And once I say no, I'm out of here in 5 minutes. He said that. If that's the way you led him to believe this was going to go, then that didn't serve any purpose. But that's water under the bridge. Where are we going from here? I'm going to ask questions about who anything relevant to anyone else committing this murder and the circumstances leading up to it. Because if it's someone else, it's not her, and it is not good enough for him to simply say she didn't do it. I appreciate he said it. And it's certainly helpful to clearing her name. But it's not the end of it. His daughter put her in harm's way with it. She refuses to look at a picture and say it's not her when we've given her the opportunity. And we're going to go on with this case. And we're going to do our job to show not only he says it wasn't, his son says it wasn't, we're going to get everybody else to say it wasn't, and then we're going to prove it could not have been her because it was someone else. And I am not going to be dictated as to what questions I can ask or not. Is it sensitive? Is it horrible to have to ask this man these questions? Amen. But it doesn't change the fact that I got to put on my job, my work hat, and ask my questions. I'm not going to sit here and be berated and argue every question I ask and be told what I can and can't answer. So I got a job to do. Let's take a break. Either decide to come back and
wants to take a break, doesn't he?
we're going to let you talk a minute. All right, then we won't take a break. I'm either going forward and doing my job, and I'm going to get questions and answers, and I'm not going to get a lecture every question I ask. I am empathetic of his situation, but I'm not going to sit here and be berated every question I ask. Either we're going to do this businesslike and get it done, or we're going to go to the judge and ask him what he thinks about it. What do you want to do? I've had it. What do you want to do?
We're going to take a break. We're going to take a break, and I'm going to talk to my client.
Okay.
The time is 11:41. We'll go off record. Time is 11:56 a.m. We are back on the record.
Okay. We talked about a subject before. I want to be clear. I think I was. I want to make sure I'm clear. Any questions that I ask about Dominic Casey when he went out to the woods and what he was told and what he told y'all and all that, you're taking the privilege on, am I right?
Yes, sir.
From reading your statement that we referred to earlier with Sheriff's Office, Mark Hussey, I saw something in there about that there had been some disputes over, and this isn't the exact words; these are my words of Kaylee being somewhat attached to you and your wife, and that may have caused some level of friction or some disputes with Casey in the past. Is that fair?
I don't ever think that there was a dispute between Casey and myself or with Cindy about our affection for our granddaughter. I don't believe there ever was that at all. I think that was something possibly could have been drummed up or someone said something about it. No. Okay. I mean, my gosh, my granddaughter lived with us from the time she was brought her from the hospital until the time she came up missing. My gosh, she meant everything to me.